All right, so you've got all, at least most of the data that you need for your literature review. Now it's time to start getting everything in order, and you're going to learn how to do that right now. Hi, everybody. I'm Leigh from teachingacademia.com, and I'm all about giving you the tools you need to navigate academia and make your best impact. Today, we're talking about what do you do when you're at that stage with your literature review where you've got a stack of data, a stack of articles, and you got to start making sense of it, okay? We're not quite into analysis yet, but we are definitely on the train to get to analysis station. Sorry, that was a bad joke. But what we need to do first now is think about how we set up our articles, how we pull the relevant data from them so that you can do your analysis, you can do your coding, and you can answer your research questions and write your paper. So I'm going to show you a system for how to do that. Let's go take a look. All right, so you can see I am back. I've just made this is just a simple spreadsheet right in Google Sheets, okay? And I decided to just start it off by leaving the whole thing blank so that you could really see what happens with it from scratch, all right? So there are a number of things that I would do here. Now, keep in mind that, my research question is about techniques that researchers have found that will be successful in increasing reading comprehension with students who have learning disabilities. So what I like to do here is I will put in the reference, and I might put in the full citation, or I previously talked to you about an article, numbering your articles. You could just put in the article number. Okay? So either one of that is fine, but you need the citation, okay? And so that's where that would go. You would just start plugging this in. Now, I like to put in some basic stuff. I like to put the year published in its own column, just because sometimes I like to look at to see if there's any trends that happen by decade, right, or over a certain period of time. So, what I like to know is I like to know things about the particular methodology. Even if I'm not doing a methodological literature review, you still want to know how people went about gathering the information that they gathered. So there are a number of things that I might include in here, right? And of course, spelling would be very important here for me. Like participants, okay? And I'm going to put number of, right? I want to know participants, number of participants. I want to know the age, okay, of my participants. Even if I have bound it to adolescents, or even if I have bound it further with that by saying middle school or high school, I still want to know, like, are these 13 to 15-year-olds? Are these, just 13-year-olds? I kind of want to get a sense of, who have we studied, okay? You might find that it's important to do something about race or socioeconomic status of your participants. And if so, you would add in columns for that, okay? I like to put study design in, right? Is this a case study? Is this a ethnography? Is this a, what is this, right? Is this a quasi-experimental study? Okay, that's what I want to know. I want to know length. Now for my question, right, let me back up. When I say length, I want to know, did this last 2 months, 2 weeks, 2 years? How long did this last? Was this a longitudinal study? I want to know. Now, one of the things that's important to my question, and so you'll start to see where some of these things might, they might transcend anybody's, database, but there are going to be some things that are unique for yours, right? So one of the things that I want to know, because I'm asking again about techniques that improve reading comprehension for kids with learning disabilities, is I want to know who gave the instruction. Did the researcher, because sometimes the researcher comes in and gives the instruction, and sometimes the teacher is trained and does it. So, and that matters to me, okay? So I'm just going to put that down as one of the columns, who gave the instruction. And the other thing that I'm realizing, of course, that I have left out here is the research questions. So we want the research questions, okay? And then I want to know findings. So I'm going to put finding one, finding two, etc. Okay? So that is like a very basic setup of things that I look for. And obviously you're going to want to tweak it. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in here and I'm going to start with article number 1, and I'm going to, start answering all of these questions, okay? And as I start answering all these questions, I might realize, oh, I need another category for something, okay? And then I'll just go back and put the category in, and then I'll have to go back and catch up and fill in any holes, right, for anybody who that information is missing for. So what this does, okay, is this allows you to extract the information that is most critical for your to answer your questions, and it leaves it all in one place, because you cannot manage 20, 30, 40, 50, and studies, right? Entire research articles. You have to pull out the information that's going to best help you answer your research question. Now, for me, while I might have main finding number 1 and main finding number 2, we also have this question about improving reading comprehension for a particular population. So I'm going to write gains. All right. And again, this doesn't have to, you might read this and say, what the heck does that mean? Here's the thing. It doesn't have to make sense to you as an audience member. It has to make sense to me as the researcher, okay, at this point in time. So for me, gains just means like, did they make gains, yes or no? And, what were they, okay? Did they improve on their reading comprehension as a result of the instruction, all right? So the other thing that I also would add in here is what kind of instruction did they receive, right? Some kind of a little description. So you can see as I start this, I have some basic things in mind that I put in, and then I went, oh yes, I'm also going to want to know, right, the instruction. I'm going to want to know who gave it, okay? I'm going to want to know how long was it. And while I do want to know about the findings, okay, and obviously I can make more columns for this if a study has more than 2 findings, I specifically want to make sure I talk about the gains, okay? And so you can see I refine this as I start thinking it through. And then as I start going through this, I will refine it further, meaning I will add, most likely I would add other categories to this as well that I would then go back, reread articles and fill it in, okay? Now, what's really nice about what I just showed you is now you have gone through and you have done some data reduction, okay? You are pulling out the things that matter, all right? You notice we haven't done any data analysis. This is the beginning of data analysis, right? But before we can really get in and start to code and answer our questions, we've got to reduce the data down to just the essentials of what we need. And what we don't need are 20, 30, 40-page articles stacked in a big pile. We'll never figure out how to make sense and answer a question from there. So that's why we put it into this database. And this, like I said, is the start of analysis. And so in the next series, we're going to be covering how you do code and do analysis. And then from there, we'll be moving into how you write all this up. So stay with me, head over to the next video.